Okay, so I wanted to make another video covering this because my last video that I uploaded actually got quite a bit of a discussion going, which I appreciate. I do go through all the comments and try to reply as much as possible. Um, but yeah, ultimately I've been having a look at what people have been saying and what people have been effectively saying across the Discord as well, the Turtle Wow Discord, and it's I guess I'm not surprised because this is the internet, but I'm just so confused by some of the takes that are currently going around. Like, some things really should just be kind of obvious and simple. Uh, oh, okay, run restart, that's fine. Uh, but basically, it's. Let me just start this off by saying I don't care about Blizzard. I'm not a Blizzard supporter, right? I like playing. I know I'm going to lose all credibility for this, but I like playing retail WoW at the moment. I still like classic WoW, um, but I don't like Blizzard. Right? I do agree that Blizzard is a shitty company. They are morally bankrupt, right? You know, past and present. They are a shit company, right? Like, they're not exactly the best out there. But that being said, the sentiment that I'm seeing here at the moment is ultimately that, Blizzard should have no right taking down these private servers sharing their IP and stuff like that. Like, that's insane. Like, that really is just insane. I'm sorry, but like, it's not. Don't get me wrong. I like private servers. I've played many private servers, but at the end of the day, if Blizzard comes in and says you need to stop, you need to stop. Like, it is literally as simple as that. There is a crime being committed, and it needs to stop, right? That is effectively it. Now, people saying that, like, oh, Blizzard this, Blizzard that, they deserve it and stuff like that, that is, that is insane. I know I keep using that word, but you can't just say that because everyone doesn't like one individual or an organization that laws you're free to break the law against them. Like, it's a ridiculous sentiment that will only backfire. You can't just have like rules for thee but not for me, because by that logic, by the logic of, oh, if I don't like something, therefore I can commit a crime, then by that, you can have crimes committed against you. Like, nobody is exempt from dislike or disapproval or hate. So by that very same logic, nobody would then be exempt from laws being broken against them. Like, anyone could just come in and fucking steal your stuff just because they don't like you, and what, you're just gonna sit there and be okay with it because, you know, in your eyes, Blizzard should be okay with their property being stolen from them, but like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I am not sitting here trying to defend Blizzard. I am sitting here defending something that I guess is even harder to defend these days, which is fucking common sense. It's really not that hard to see it this way. Like, it sucks that Turtle Whale is going down. I've said that I've played it before. Like, I've played on that server. I want to say a couple of years ago. I probably still have the files on my server to like launch it. Let me see if I can find it. But ultimately, it's just that it was always breaking the law, right? It is a good thing, and you know it has to come to an end effectively. Now, I'm not saying this in a way that, like, oh man, those crafty villains have been stealing for years and blah blah blah. It's just that, like with a lot of these private servers, they go in knowing what the consequences will be, right? So it's not like this was never gonna happen. But either way, the another point that I wanted to get across was that a lot of people seem to think that I was insinuating that that the individuals who are responsible are somehow like going to be in any like specific trouble themselves. Like obviously, yes, they by the legal document are in trouble, but I don't think that they are going to get necessarily caught like them individuals. I don't think that they are going to be like taken down by Blizzard or something. But the services are very much vulnerable to legal action. I've tried going into this in some of my comments. It's a lot to explain, and I did sort of vaguely go into it on my last video, but I'll just sort of briefly summarize that effectively, regardless of where the individuals are based, it's all about where their services are based, right? The servers that they host, like how they. I mean, that's basically it, really. The servers that they host and whoever they use to, manage transactions, like the payment processes, which I keep bringing up. I'm starting to sound like a broken record with the amount of times I've typed that into my comments. But it really is just down to that, ultimately. And these things aren't just gonna these things will get taken down through court, like through court orders, effectively. There are other methods I've mentioned in other comments and stuff regarding there are Chinese payment processes that Turtle WoW uses, which could technically be taken down as well, considering that Blizzard does have a foundation in China through NetEase. But I don't know much else in that regards. Like, I'm not saying that NetEase are gonna fucking like go in there swinging in Blizzard's name, but it's just that they do have some weight there. The other method being cryptocurrencies, which I said in a comment. I think the best way to put it is that if cryptocurrencies are the only form for donations for Turtle WoW, then it's going to create a very narrow net for donations. It's going to be very hard for them to like incentivize people to donate. So it's going to be very hard to maintain the server. And I'm not saying that it's impossible. If these guys are like filthy rich and have like other means of income and can support the server without a single donation, Turtle WoW is fine. But the chances of that are pretty low, unfortunately. Now, it's just it's just really crazy to me how people come to like the defense of well, not people criticize anyone coming to the defense of this legal action, but at the end of the day, like I'm getting this whole thing that I'm like some Blizzard shill and that I'm, just what was it that I was called earlier? Right, that I supported companies like Nintendo and stuff like that. Like, I'm just protecting Blizzard. I'm a pathetic loser. There it is. But that's not it. Like, I don't agree with Blizzard. I especially, I honestly was insulted the moment I was told that I was a Nintendo fan. Like, I know that I'm a very small channel, so not a lot of people know me here, but I can assure you the furthest thing I am from anything in the world is a fucking Nintendo fan. Okay, those greedy assholes can shove whatever goddamn Switch controls up their ass. I don't care about them. I think they're awful. And you know what? I will bring up some examples. So, of other things. Like, so the reason I do to an extent think that like I think pirating, well, I say pirating because it kind of is like private servers are somewhat pirating, but like I think that bringing up fucking pirate servers, private servers of a game that is no longer around, I would argue that that's fine. If a company was to go after that, I would say that there is that people should have some sort of response that like I feel like people it's hard to say. I don't think people should go after companies or something, but I do think that it's understandable to have a large backlash in regards to something that has been put out of life, like end of life, and people just want to keep playing it. I think it's okay to have a private server. Obviously, that's not the law. I can't make that up, but that's where I stand. mentally. Like, if there is a service that is still running and someone else decides to run a free version of that service, I think that at that point, like, you know, you you can't really defend it, right? I mean, yeah, you can say, well, this one's better than that, so why should we have to pay? You can say that, but at the end of the day, you are still stealing revenue from a product that exists on the market, right? And I feel like you wouldn't want something like that to happen to you if you were someone who had something on the market that was suddenly being stolen and given away for free, like, and then you all of a sudden just can't seem to make any money anymore. Like, you're losing money on your product that you've created, that you've copyrighted. Like, you wouldn't want that to happen to you, effectively. So I know that, like, Blizzard is a large company and they don't deserve charity, obviously. But at the same time, like, I don't think that what they are doing here is wrong, right? Like, sure, it's like morally gray, but at the same time, like, it's just not that, like, the rules are clear. Don't steal. It should just be as simple as that. And again, like I said, I am not against the use of private servers, but I just think the moment you get got, you just put your hands up and walk away. Like, just walk away from the whole thing, because this is only. Well, I say this is only going to get worse. It's not going to get worse from here. Like, things are on a steady trend regardless of how people react. Like, it's gonna ultimately, like, just slowly descend, I suppose is a good way to put it. Like, this legal process is going to take forever to really go through due to all the international issue, like all the international well, yeah, I suppose issues is a good word for it. But yeah, the last thing I wanted to cover was just that a lot of people. I say a lot of people. I read a few comments of people in Discord. I'm not really talking about the majority. I just want to clarify. This isn't like the entire Turtle WoW base. I'm sure a lot of them are just silent on the issue and are probably just comfortable moving on like a normal person. Um, but yeah, and one of the other things that was brought up is, like, I was given an example of how Nostalrius was taken down. What was it? What I was told? There was some misinformation that was being given. Um, what was it? I can't find it. But anyways, my point that I wanted to bring up was that this could be. This is just me being hopeful. This could be a sign of Blizzard actually doing Classic Plus. Like, the reason they're taking down Turtle WoW, I don't think is because of profits. I mean, obviously they are losing some profit to Turtle WoW, but you know, this isn't like how you go about making more money when it comes to running an MMO. Pissing off the community is not really the way to do it. You know, I think this is sort of similar to when the Starius got taken down. Like, they may actually have some plans to provide a similar concept. Maybe not the same, we don't know. Like, obviously it's not going to be the same, but we don't know what they're working on. And it goes without saying that, like, it could just be nothing, and this could just be, Blizzard getting mad that Turtle WoW took the spotlight not long ago. But WoW in itself is not doing bad, right? I don't know what it used to be like but like at the moment, as far as everywhere I can read is saying, there is an estimate of about 1 to 2 million daily players. Now, I don't know if that's including alts or if that's including just individuals, but that's still a pretty hefty number, right? That's still a pretty weighty number. That's not like the game being dead. And I don't understand, like, if the reason was to take the players back from Turtle WoW, which has about, what, 50,000? I don't even know if that's daily, but I don't. Didn't Turtle WoW used to say how many players? Turtle WoW concurrent players. I don't know if that's even possible, but Okay, well, as of 6 months ago, 7 months ago, a Redditor, this is, I'm sourcing this, a Redditor says 5 to 7k players at all times. So that's a lot, but it's not like enough for Blizzard to go on a rampage to try and take back, like to try and take back these players, because logically speaking, anyone with more than a few brain cells would know that, that's not how it works. Like, a lot of those people aren't just suddenly going to go, well, Turtle WoW's down, I'm going to go subscribe to WoW. That's obviously not how it works. A lot of people do this just because it's free. Um, and I think it's more just that they finally might actually have a concept for Classic Plus after the seasons that they've been doing, after the what's it called, the remixes they've been doing. It may genuinely be that they are finally doing something. This is me being hopeful. I have no information. There is no information to suggest this, barring just piecing shit together. And yeah, I got nothing else. Like, it really is just speculation at the end of the day, and it's a hopeful speculation. This is me trying to see the good out of this. I I'm not convinced that, like, I'm 50-50, right? Like, that's ultimately it. I don't know if it's gonna happen. It's gonna suck if it doesn't. It'd be great if it does. But I'd be surprised if Blizzard was trying to take down Total WoW to regain its player base, because that wouldn't really make a lot of sense. Um, anyways, man, I should have started making this video after the maintenance. I didn't get to do shit. But, anyways, man, I don't want to keep covering this. this was gonna be a one and done video, but unfortunately, I guess it got a bit more. I say unfortunately, I do appreciate the views it got and the discussions that were had, but good lord, I was not expecting some of the rhetoric in the replies. But anyways, I'm hopefully not going to cover this again. I plan to do a couple more videos regarding Final Fantasy XIV, but again, I do want to move on to other things, and just cover any game stuff. Either way, I'm gonna jump out of here. I'm just gonna plug this because I keep forgetting to. I stream almost every day. I've started taking Tuesdays and Thursdays off, but otherwise I'm pretty much here all the time. uh, but yeah, so feel free to stop by. And if you've got any comments on the discussion, you're welcome to leave them on the video or in my stream. I stream on YouTube and Twitch. But yeah. Alright. I am done here. Goodbye. Goodbye.